You're tuned into the Changing Winds podcast, where bloodlines speak, bones remember, and no stories ask for permission to be told. I'm Alahanchi Molly. Pull up a chair or keep walking. I don't give a damn. You're tuned into the Changing Winds podcast, where bloodlines speak, bones remember, and no stories ask for permission to be told. I'm Alahanchi Molly. Pull up a chair or keep walking. I don't give a damn. You're tuned into the Changing Winds podcast, where bloodlines speak, bones remember, and no stories ask for permission to be told. I'm Alahanchi Molly. Pull up a chair or keep walking. I don't give a damn. You're tuned into the Changing Winds podcast, where bloodlines speak, bones remember, and no stories ask for permission to be told. I'm Alahanchi Molly. Pull up a chair or keep walking. I don't give a damn. You're tuned into the Changing Winds podcast, where bloodlines speak. Hello. Sorry, y'all missed all that what I was saying. Give me 1 second. Testing my feeds and everything. Oh, what I was saying is I haven't done any uh, studio live streams in a while because I've been focusing on. Give me a second. Okay, everything's hot. Okay. Anyway, um, I haven't done a studio live stream in a while. Uh, Today's my birthday. Turned 41. Wasn't planning on doing one. I was planning on doing one, and then I wasn't because all our power went out, and now it's back up. So it's an hour early. Normally I do it once at 7 on Tuesdays, and I've been trying to do vertical live streaming at least 2 times a week. But I haven't been in the studio in a while. Well, I have, but I've been working on projects. Um, anyway, it's my birthday, so happy birthday to me. Um, anyway, sorry about last week. Last week I was supposed to do a studio live stream, and I looked at it was like 11:59. I was like, oh shit. Okay, well, so what I did is I merged these two into um, one video, and I wanted to talk to y'all. So I did um, a poem, and it's called "I Wasn't Supposed to Make It, But I Did." And this poem is gives me a lot of my story. I was born into silence, into names that never fit, into hands that wrote my story before I spoke word. But I was never theirs, not their system, not their shame, not their blood quantum. I was the wind before they knew I had wings. They said I wouldn't make it, that I would disappear like the rest, that I'd burn out before I ever caught fire, but I'm still here. May 26th, another year they tried to steal, and and I'm still breathing, still building, and still becoming. The name they gave me, that one's buried. The new one I walk now, Ali Hanchamali. That's the name came from the smoke, fear, and tears, and the truth. Um, it was kind of how I felt. And sometimes I still feel that way. Um, there is times in my life that I could have easily gave up. Steph's walking through. Say hi. Um, but there was times that I could have walked away, easily walked away, and I didn't. And I keep fighting. It's not about me. It's about this world. It's about you. It's about everyone that ever said they were never enough. People try to judge other people by what we do or how we do it or what we do, and quite honestly, it's sad. And I let me back up. Wasn't easy, and it was not always clear on what I needed to do in my life. Uh, things have changed. My opinion on things change all the time. Um, as I get older, some people say you get more conservative as you get older, and I've gotten to be more liberal with things, just because I've had to learn how to delete the stuff that's not worth anything. The things that we have, the things that we own, they can all go away. They can all go away in an instant. Growing up the way I did, I probably wouldn't change anything about it because I learned through those processes. And the more and more I do my live streams, and especially since I've been doing the vertical live streams. Hey guys, four of y'all. I'm glad to see you in here. Let me see who's all in here. Okay, I got chat up now. So if y'all want to tune in, go right ahead. But living life in two different worlds for me. I could have took the easy route, and I could have took the hard route. And I've always taken the harder road. This stuff is who I've always been. People have always tried to silence me and silence the people that I love. I talk a little bit about my aunt, and she was hard nosed, but she never once tried to change me. And I did not know this until after I moved in back into my home. She had so much stuff of mine, and I can't believe she actually kept it, and stuff I didn't even know she had. And she saved it for me, and I am greatly appreciated. 40 years ago, 41 years ago, my mom, at 11:20 a.m. in the morning, gave birth to me. But she also coded. I coded too. I wasn't supposed to be here. I wasn't supposed to have 80 years of my mom. My brother almost lost his mom that day at the age of 9. My brother, the same situation. My mom coded on the table with him. So did he. He wasn't supposed to be here. Mom wasn't supposed to be here to give birth to either one of us. but she did. People don't look at this the same way as everybody else does. And I look at it in a different way too. My mom, my dad, my grandparents, they were all fighters. And people will sit there and do everything they can to pull you down, to belittle you, to make you feel tinier than a grain of sand. And it's not their place to do. Only you can make yourself feel that small. And I've been there. I've felt that being that little grain of nothing, well, something. I personally have felt it. And being that way, I had to learn how to step up and keep going. When life gets so hard that you cannot physically feel like you can't do it, you have to keep going. You have to keep going. And I've had friends pass away. I've had and that's the thing. They had to keep going too. Not in a physical form, but wherever life takes us after this journey. Is it scary to think that way? Yeah, it is. I've often felt scared to do what I'm doing now. It's very hard for me to put the things that I put out there and have everybody see. You know, I have tried and tried to make my life better, but I do it so it makes everybody's life better. And I've been watching a lot of different things lately about how you let go of these insecurities. Look, y'all see that I've made things and everybody's like, oh, they're gorgeous. How do you do that? I don't know how I do it. My brother gets underneath my skin a lot. I wish I could make things like you. Well, you can if you know what you're doing. I did not start with every tool. I do a lot of things with hot glue and toothbrushes and stuff like that. I fix things with things around the house. If I can't get something to work, I do it a different way. And part of my rebirth was to get rid of a lot of things that just don't make sense. And to keep holding on. I couldn't keep holding on to my mom, my aunt, my nanny, my dad, my loved ones that's gone. I have to I have to deal with it. They're gone. Do I wish they wasn't? Yeah, I do. But if you want to keep going and you keep doing the things you're doing and you want to make your life better, you need to do it. Thomas graduated Friday, and I keep saying this over and over again. Okay. I keep saying this over and over again that you have to take care of yourself. You have to do this to love yourself. You have to get through things It's not that you even if you have your mom and dad, there's some things that you have to do on your own. You have to just do it. And it's not easy. And it's not, it's not. And a lot of people, their birthday is about them, but I've also had to look at, say, because normally we really don't celebrate birthdays. I never say happy birthday to myself. But when Thomas walked across the stage this last Friday, I did the same thing 22 years ago. Same exact field, just in a different direction. They were pointing north, we were pointing south. But I did it. And there's some rewards that I didn't get that I found out much later that I did, but I didn't get the honors that I deserved for how much I worked. Y'all are gonna laugh at this, but my GPA was 3.79. Now you have GPAs over 6. This girl had like a 6.2 something. She was the highest. And I was ranked 150 out of 300 kids. So dead center. I also was a tech prep student, which means I did all the technology classes I could do. And I was rewarded the cord for that, but I never got mine. And I looked and I'm like, I see the cords and I'm like, I told Steph, I said, I never got mine. I looked through all my stuff, maybe hoping my aunt, it's not there, but on my transcript it shows that I completed everything. But I had to let that go too. Because with those honors, if I could make myself have a big old head. And I didn't realize that I had really accomplished that until this year as I was going through things. I also was a recipient of some kind of it's a scholarship of some sort, but I can't remember what it was for. I did wind up using it after I came back home from the military. But that's the thing, is you may have completed those things, and you may not have gotten that reward. Doesn't mean anything, because what matters is how you keep moving forward, even if you did not know you had those rewards until later on in life. And I think at that time, if I would have had my rope and all that other stuff, I probably would have got a big head about it. But not to demean anybody that's, like Thomas graduated, and I'm so proud of him. And the stuff that he got rewarded is just, I'm so proud. But with the pride comes disappointment too. And you have to learn that disappointment. When it comes, you'll know. I've noticed that a lot of kids come in and check out my vertical live streams. I've noticed it. And kids gravitate to who they feel that can understand them. So, with that being said, is I've decided, I don't know if it's going to be this year because it's really late in the game to do it now. Um, but I'm planning on running for governor for Texas. And I'm going to be putting out some videos explaining my stance on things. Uh, I'm going to be using the Texas Constitution, United States Constitution, things that um, we're supposed to stand on that I see is it's a lot of the stuff going on right now is unconstitutional. It's not just that though either. We have people in charge that um, seem to forget there's a lot of things. Huh? What in the world? Something just popped up on my control panel. Give me a second, guys. Okay. I've never seen that pop up before. That's why I'm confused. Okay. But anyway, I'm gonna do this in a manner that is respectful. Also, I'm gonna step on a lot of people's toes. I feel that a lot of these, I'm gonna call them what they are, they're dictators. They sit around in their governor's mansions and try to rule everybody else. Being from Texas, everybody's like, oh, Texas cares about their freedom, blah, blah, blah. No, they don't. If you have the money, they do. Look, I'm a poor as poor, and I don't need a mansion to lead. I can do it from my home. We spend millions of dollars, billions of dollars, on keeping the lights on these big ass mansions that for two or three people to live in, and they're handed foot with everything they want. That's not me. That's not me. A lot of people talk about President Carter getting his hands dirty. I respect the man. Come up as a peanut farmer. And there's going to be people that will talk bad about me. And I will talk bad about myself too, probably. And you'll hear it. You'll hear me talk bad about myself. And that's the thing is, I'm willing to put myself out there. I'm willing to stick my nose where sometimes where it shouldn't belong. And when I do that, it's going to make people uncomfortable. It's going to make myself uncomfortable. But I feel uncomfortable all the time. Mind you, I have chronic health conditions that make me feel uncomfortable 90% of the time. There's really not a day that I don't go without some kind of pain. Uh, Speaking of that, I didn't know this until the other day about Mr. Beast. He's got issues. He's spent, you know, you don't hear about him spending hours in the hospital, but he's got health conditions that's kept him in hospitals all over the world. And this guy has undisclosed amounts of wealth, and whatever he's doing and whatever he's makes him feel good. Uh, he's he's doing what he can do. There's other people that have money and they poured in X amount of dollars to this kind of stuff into research and cancer and Shriners and hey guys, hey John, and hi Kaleidoscope of Happiness. What do you mean on the Mormons? I don't know really what you're talking about. You'd have to explain that to me. I have an issue with Mormons, yeah, on a certain problem that I was going to join the church and kind of find out it wasn't for me. But that's not it. I don't know what's going on with the Mormons. Hello, Chokma. That's how you say hello or greetings in Chickasaw. I don't know if Hollow is referring to another tribe or not. I say Chokma. Oh, uh, that's them. That's their religious belief, not mine. I don't really get into their weeds. I'm 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 an atheist when it comes to the Christian gods. So I don't know. I don't care if they want to say Jesus was this or that. I left religion a long time ago. My problem with them is they tried to kill off control, tried to kill off a full Indian tribe over a stupid lie that they told the federal government. And I uncovered it and went to the bishop and said, y'all need to make this right with those people. And they said, what do you mean? And I showed it, and they kept saying it was fake. No, it was real, all right. Because I've talked to some of their medicine men and their clan mothers. That's my problem with them. I could care less who they think Jesus was, and I mean, if Jesus existed, he was a good teacher, and a lot of the things we don't even know that really happened. We wasn't there, so that's my thing. What? Yeah, I've seen it in the records too because I looked at family records. It's supposed to be a Jesus Ben something, Jesus Ben David or something, and you look in the ancestry lines and they think that they connect a lot of people to that guy that they think is Jesus. Yeah, I've seen the family search records on that. I don't really care. I don't. It's not. Why in the Bible did Jesus lie? Because he was a human, and because every human has told a lie somewhere. And if you look at it, if he was the Holy Spirit that impregnated his mother, well, he's part his mom too because it takes an egg, and she was human, so he had human DNA too. Think of that too. Everybody's like, oh, it was miraculous by the Holy Spirit of God. Well, you still have to have a mother's womb to give birth to him. That's why he lied, because he's part human. Just like, who was it? What was it? Was it uh, Kratos and whatever Zeus, all that stuff? Yeah, and if you have the faith of mustard seed that he would, you can move a mountain. Yeah, that's not. You got to have a bulldozer. Yes, I am Native American. I descend through. I do not have my tribal recognition. No, I do not have that. My great grandfather was murdered in 1880, and my lineage goes back to 1740 to my grandfather that was married to a Native American. He had three Native American wives, and I'm the descendant of one of those children. So, and my line would be documented because my cousin that comes through my grandfather, his sister, is a documented line. Mine was not. Therefore, okay. The bingo games, that kind of stuff, I don't go along with. I know where you're going. I don't even gamble. I don't even drink. I don't smoke. I don't do any of that stuff. I stay away from it. Don't give a Native American and Scott Irish some fire whiskey and a lottery ticket, okay? Don't do it. It's not healthy. Um, I just stay away from it. Thank you. I appreciate it, Theo. I really do. Um, but yeah, my I'm not a. I've tried to get into my tribe, and they've go back and read. Or I have other videos on it. Go back and check them out. I've got 35 videos. I've got talking about them. I've got all kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm very much. That's part of the reason why I left Christianity is because of my native heritage. I could not continue. And I'll tell you the funny story. See that flag behind me? About 3 years ago, I took this headband, that flag, the walking stick that's back there, and I walked down the road. As I started this journey, two deer crossed my path on a busy road. I'm walking. These two deer. That's my totem is deer. Peacock is my guardian. But two deer stepped out from the woods. And I told them, it's not safe. Go back in. They turned around calmly and jumped back into the woods and never was seen again. Then, on my way back, somebody had started following me, and I stopped. And they just kept looking at me, and I just stared with them with that flag. So I know my path. Um, no, I I'm spiritual. I believe in a lot of things that some people. You're crazy. You're atheist, and you know what? I still light sage. I still pray to my ancestors. I don't pray to God. I don't pray to Jesus. I don't pray to anybody but my ancestors. And my ancestors have what? Okay, okay, okay. So my past lives. Let me give you this story, okay? And I've talked about it in other of my podcasts, but I will talk to you about this. It was 1999. I was a freshman in high school. I was in my dream. I I dreamed that all this happened, but the other, I will tell you what the other ones, what was not in the dream. I get my aunt told me, hey, why don't you ride the bus? She's a school bus driver. I was like, I got to be at school at 4:30. I can't ride the school bus and be there because I had zero period. I had to be at school at 4:30 in the morning to get out at 11, so I could go to work, take care of my mom. So I get in the car, and it's been raining. The road is horrible. I start hydroplaning. The car starts doing this. I let off the wheel. I let off the gas, and it was just like, okay, crossed lane 2 and into the median. You don't slam on your brakes and you don't try to steer the car because it's useless. So I let off the wheel, let off the gas, did not hit the brakes. I I guess hit a stump in the middle because it's grass and mud. The car hit and then did a direct 90-degree turn. I was this far from the road. The car stood about that high off the ground because it was a 92 Mazda 323 hatchback. And if any of y'all know what that is, how small a car that is, it's a small car. And it's a hatchback and it's a light. I looked down and this part did not show up. Two, I'm going to just say angelical beings. I don't really consider it angels because I don't really know what they were. My grandmother I was head level with them. She had passed away uh, she passed away in 98. This was, yeah, somewhere along that lines. Anyway, I look up. I look up and there she is. I look down and I follow her tear fall from her eye and it disappeared. I get out of the vehicle and this Native American man pulls up and calls me by my English name. Then he calls me by my nickname that I had all through my childhood. I was known, that's what my whole family called me. As I was getting out of the vehicle, he called me by my native name, Ilanchi Molly. Did not know that was my native name until well after. I don't know what you're saying, not true, but this is my truth. He gave me a card. Long story short, we found a simmering fire where he was supposed to be at, and it had been raining. My past lives, I've seen things that I consider past lives or past memories. I think that DNA that you get from your mother, you get from your daddy, you also get that from your great grandparents and your great great grandparents and your greats, your grandparents. And I think DNA kind of I think it's kind of a memory transfer of what they know and what you know. And I think that's what deja vu is too. It's not proven, it's not something that a lot of people say. That's just the way I believe in it. I think that past lives are past memories because DNA is it's memory. It's basically a computer transfer of information. It's a code. It's ATGs, C's, I think. Anyway, I did a paper on the human genome back when that was a big deal. Never thought that I would that would come to me how to understand it. But I don't with I I have family that is my one of my cousins that we match DNA. She is Shawnee and she calls herself Indian. I think it's all the way you interpret it. My thinking is I don't care what you call somebody as long as it's not disrespectful. And some people will say it is, some people will say it's not. There's certain terms that people call me that I don't like, and I get pretty pissed about. And but that being said, is a lot of people think of Native Americans that they have their cultural identity. I grew up without my cultural identity for the simple fact is that they could not we could not prove our lineage and we're not allowed entry into our family tribe. But when I say something, I say I'm a descendant of Native American, and I'm a descendant of my great grandfather that was married, and that that's documented. Okay, and people, there's blood quantum. I mean, my my uncle had or he's actually, well, he is a cousin. He's a cousin somewhere. I didn't meet him until later on in life. He calls himself Indian. I mean, my uncle Medicine Horse, that is Chickamauga, uh, he calls himself Indian. He's 60s, early 70s. He doesn't say Native American. He'll call himself an Indian. So it's not, I mean, it depends on how you take it. I mean, I personally, like I said, I say I'm a descendant of, which I've made this. I everything that I have, I've made. I don't go and buy things. I make them. That's my spirituality. Just like just like this. That I made. I didn't go out and buy it. Somebody that's really into their culture and into they make their things. Now there's things that I have made for people and then gifted it to them that are some are not, and I make sure to tell them you need to understand that some of this stuff that I make you, and if you wear it, you need to identify it as somebody that has Native American heritage that is not enrolled. And that's the same thing with their my cousin Neshoba, that's in the Chickasaw tribe. We had ceremony and I wore this. And I'll show you what he rewarded me. This is what he rewarded me. This is what he awarded me. So he's an enrolled member. And we talk a lot on things. But you see the staff that's behind me? I've made it. That tomahawk that's back there, that one, I made it. But when my family, especially my Nashoba, made me this, he knows. And so does the Chickasaw Nation. They know. And we're working on changing things, but we can't change it in a day. So, Theo, with the Native American thing, if you don't feel comfortable calling them by their other terms, it's easier just to call them Native Americans. And they'll let you know. They'll let you know. You can always determine. It's the same way with, like, I grew up being called redneck, whatever. But I also grew up being called preppy because I didn't really fit that stereotype, and I never fit preppy, and I never fit the skater because I did that stuff too. I wore jinkos and had greasy hair, and then I had people that were hippies. One of my best friends, she was a hippie. All she wore was bell bottoms and a freaking is praying to Satan. If that's who you want to pray to him. I don't, like I said, I don't pray to any kind of God or deity, or I burn sage, or just I let my ancestors speak to me. When I'm out in the woods or I'm out making things, this stuff usually just comes up naturally to me. So praying doesn't need to be complicated anyway, because Christianity, uh, Jesus himself said that you're not supposed to pray in public, and I see that all the time. Jesus gave a commandment to say uh, something sticky on her, to go in a room and close the door and not have everybody hear what you're saying. And it seems like everybody give a word of prayer, give a word of prayer, give a word of, just like at the graduation, the kids led the prayers. So when is the right time to, whenever you feel like it. If you want to pray to him, pray to him. I don't know. I don't. I don't really care. I don't care who you pray to. Just don't expect me to bow my head and pray to him, because I'm not. I don't bow to anybody. I don't bow to any kind of idol. I don't bow. The only people that I've ever bowed down to is when I've gone into my little corner where my mom and my grandma's ashes are at, and I need to have a talk. So, or when I go out to my dad where my dad's buried, and I need to talk to him, or my Uncle Johnny, or my grandparents. So, whenever you feel like you need to talk to Satan, go for it. I mean, if that's what makes you happy. Glory to the Father of the earth. I care more about my grandmothers than I do the fathers. Just saying, and Native American things. That's just. I see you, John. I see what you're doing. But seriously, that's why I do what I'm doing. So Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to throw up my exit screen, and I've done a long. I did a live stream this morning, a vertical, and I've done my live stream for tonight that I didn't know that I was going to do. But anyway, that was just my whole spiel about my birthday. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Theo. I'll do whatever I can. Y'all have a good night. Thank y'all and take care. Ilanchi Molly here. I need a favor. Look, can you like it, dislike it, share it, or pretend you didn't see it? Just don't scroll in silence. Hit the subscribe, drop a comment, 7 words minimal to make them count. Oh, and if you get the taste, grab some merch. Links will be in the description. Support the story. Ilanchi Molly here. I need a favor. Look, can you like it, dislike it, share it, or pretend you didn't see it? Just don't scroll in silence. Hit the subscribe, drop a comment, 7 words minimal to make them count. Oh, and if you get the taste, grab some merch. Links will be in the description. Support the story. Ilanchi Molly here. I need a favor. Ilanchi Molly here. I need a favor. Look,